Hi, I'm John Schultz, owner of JDS Home Inspection Services in Denver, Colorado. When you purchased your house, landscaping was probably the last thing you were thinking about unless you were a gardener. But now that you own it, it's time to put some thought into it. Attractive landscaping not only makes the house seem more like your home, but it can actually raise your property value by 10 to 12%. To begin, it's important to get to know your property. How much light does each area get throughout the day? Is it in all-day sun? Is it in partial shade? Is it in dappled shade? How much moisture? Does the area stay cool and damp, or dry as a bone? Do any of the beds get hit by the lawn sprinklers? These are all important questions to answer because they'll dictate which plants will do well in what locations. It's important to have the underground power lines and water utilities marked before you start digging. You don't want to plant a tree or lay heavy stone directly on top of your sewer line or buried electrical service. Just dial 811. This is a free service provided by the city. When you're designing the landscape for your yard, consider what you want to use the space for. I suggest starting simple and separating the yard into rooms, just like in the house. Where will you cook? Where will you eat? Where's the best place to sit and relax? Where will the kids or pets play? Focus on one area at a time rather than trying to tackle the whole yard all at once. Also, if you're going to spend any amount of time in your yard, you're going to need a place to sit. So always make sure there's plenty of seating options. When you're designing your landscape, it's a great idea to start with the hardscaping. Hardscaping refers to the elements in the yard that are not plants. This may include rocks and boulders, paths, patios and decks, ponds, fountains, a fire pit, or statuary. These are the larger and oftentimes more expensive pieces of your landscape design. They're designed to not be moved once they're installed, so make sure you place them carefully the first time. Choose elements that will hold winter interest or act as focal points. Once you know the conditions of your landscape, you can choose your plants accordingly. Down at the garden center, you're going to find two types of plants, annuals and perennials. Perennials are plants that come back year after year. Some will drop their leaves in the fall, and some will die back completely but return in the spring. Consider carefully where you want to establish your perennials, since they won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Plant them according to their plant care instructions in order to get the most out of them. Some perennials include larger shrubs, which will get taller as they get older, and that'll shade out other plants underneath them. So bear that in mind and consider what you want to plant underneath them. Annuals are plants that only survive for 1 year. They're typically smaller and come in a variety of bright colors. These make excellent fillers between perennials and in pots, and you can experiment with different colors and varieties every year. Perennials intended for warmer climates may be brought indoors for the winter. Tropical plants, hydrangeas, gardenias, and dahlias, for example, need warmth and light through the winter, or will need to be replaced in the spring. A great idea is to plant in containers. This allows you to move your plants around to find the best conditions for them, as well as bring the garden out of the planting beds and into the living areas. Check out my video on container plants for some beautiful container design suggestions. Just remember, plants in pots need to be watered twice as much as plants in the ground, because they dry out faster. In most cases, you won't have to start with bare dirt. You can incorporate landscaping that came with the home and work with what you've got. Many existing shrubs and perennials just need to be tidied and cleaned to look their best. Some may even be transplanted. The most important thing is to keep experimenting and never stop learning. Not everything's going to make it. Keep a gardener's journal and record what you've learned every year. Just remember, not everything is going to make it or turn out how you expected. As with life, celebrate your successes and learn from your failures. If all that sounds like too much work and you prefer low maintenance landscape, look into xeriscaping. No matter your climate, skill level, or soil conditions, there are landscaping options available to you. Thanks for listening, and be sure to check out our other videos for helpful tips on other home-related subjects.